All right, Scotty here. Just want to make a quick video, personal video. We were having some streaming problems earlier on through our Facebook feed for Black Talk Radio Network. Right now, I'm actually working on that delay. Hopefully, I have solved the problem where I've synced up the audio along with the video, so everything hopefully is being synced up right now. But I just might as well just give you some quick thoughts. I, again, listen to Black Talk Radio all day long. And there was a conversation I was listening in on, and a person made the statement that they are tired of hearing about white poverty and that white poverty does not exist, that a person can get a job just by being white. So here are some of the questions that came up in my mind upon hearing that statement. So let me pull up a couple of those. Are there poor white people, meaning jobless white people, and or those earning poverty level income living in the United States? Another question, is every white person employed? Are there homeless white people? Are there white people living in public housing? Are there white people on food stamps? Can white people apply for jobs and be employed just to be white? I live around a lot of white people. I've talked about that constantly. The influx of mostly Irish immigrants and Scottish immigrants into the Carolinas in the late 1800s, mid 1800s. So we're surrounded by people classified as white in the system of racism and slavery. And I see a lot of them are poor. I see a lot of them don't have jobs. I mean, what is the definition of poor? The definition of poor is when you don't have enough. You are struggling to pay the bills. You are homeless. You're not able to purchase the basic necessities that you need. You are lacking. That's what poor. The federal government has a poverty index. I think they say something like a family of four, if they're making under $30,000 a year in income coming in, then they qualify for poverty programs like the SNAP program, like WIC, like public housing, Section 8, whatever you want to call it. And see, again, I'm asking these questions, I guess, philosophically, or I don't know if that's the proper word, or rhetorically. I'm asking these questions rhetorically because I want to guess my real question is, how does saying white poverty doesn't exist, how does that counter the system of racism? And so I guess, what is your definition of poverty? And are there white people, again, on food stamps and public housing, living in what the generally accepted description of poverty is? I can tell you, yes, it's lots of them. And I don't know if they are hiring people, to play white. I guess, yeah. Tyler Perry come out with a new series, television drama series that's focused on white people. So I guess he hired them specifically because they were white. So I guess white people can get jobs just because they're white and to play characters and things of that nature. But in terms of where I live, with all the cotton mills closing, all these jobs drying up, basically where I live, if you're not working at McDonald's, if you're not working at a small business, if you are not working at the mall, you really don't have a whole lot of options in employment. So there are a lot of white people, I can guarantee you, maybe I'm not like that. I don't have a smartphone that I carry around, but, I go to shopping and I see lots of white people pulling out EBT cards at the grocery store or at the little convenience store or whatnot. So I just want to know, how is that constructive, and are we being constructive, or is it logical to deny the existence of white poverty? Now, we can ask the question of why are poor white people maybe being showcased, especially with the rise of the Trump Trump administration, there are a lot of poor white people. I talked about it when I went to the polls. I never seen so many white people turn out to the polls, and I live in a predominantly white area. Usually I can go to the polls and I'm in and out in 5 minutes. I just walk up to the desk because there's no line. Elections pass, but this election, man, there was a line out the door. I made sure I got in early voting, and I went before the polls opened. I was like number 14 in line or something like that. But before the polls opened, that line was out the door and wrapped around the building, and I would take a guess that they was voting for Donald Trump. And he did win North Carolina. And so I just don't think it's constructive. It's also not factual to say that there is no white poverty. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out the logic in that, and why would one say that? Okay, so hopefully this test ran well, and my video is synced up on our live streams now, and we won't have that problem moving into the future. So those are my thoughts. If you have some comments on white poverty, why they might be showcasing, if you have some questions, let's ask questions, so if you have some thoughts, please leave.